Connaway on how to think creatively as an artist. If you're an artist, you know the importance of developing your own style and voice as an artist, but it can be tough to put those things into practice when you're always following someone else's rules. Luckily, Connaway, a creative expert, has some advice on how to think creatively as an artist and get back in touch with your inner creativity by finding ways to bring the love of art back into your work. What is creativity? Creativity, in both artistic and scientific endeavors, is a way of thinking that often leads to original, novel ideas or products. So, in order to be creative, you need a systematic way of questioning things and looking at them from multiple angles. Creativity isn't something that just happens, it's actually a very deliberate process you can use when trying to come up with new ideas. Connaway says, like every other skill you can develop, there are no set rules for creativity. What works for one person may not work for another. But by following certain guidelines and practicing often, you should be able to improve your creative abilities overall. Give yourself permission to think differently. Anyone who writes or draws is often told that they are creative. And while it's true that everyone has some measure of creativity, few of us actually take advantage of it. Creativity doesn't just mean you can draw a picture or write a poem. It means being able to look at things differently, from a different angle, and making connections between seemingly unrelated things. And all too often we end up letting our fear get in our way of not trying something because we might fail, of feeling like it isn't good enough, of not being accepted by others. But with practice and experience comes confidence, and with confidence comes success. Explore the surroundings in a familiar way. Even when you're looking at a scene that you've become accustomed to, your brain will try to make sense of it by coming up with familiar patterns. And sure, that might seem like a helpful instinct, but in reality, you may be closing yourself off from truly creative solutions. Consider doing something wrong with what you see before you, or juxtaposing objects or colors that don't belong together. If art school doesn't appeal, there are other ways in which exploring new environments can help boost your creativity. Don't be afraid of mistakes or criticism. Connaway says no matter what you do, it's hard not to feel a little nervous when you share your work with others. But it's also important that you don't let fear of criticism hold you back from ever sharing your work. If you see something or have an idea, be brave and put it out there. Not every idea or creation is going to be a masterpiece, but if you never take risks and put yourself out there, no one will ever know what gems are hiding in your mind. In fact, believe in thinking about mistakes as learning experiences that can teach you just as much about the process and your own skill sets as successes do. Share away. Read books, magazines, and websites about art. According to Connaway, creativity is a learned skill, and you can only get better by practicing. If you are trying to become more creative, start by reading books, magazines, and websites about art. They will not only make you more informed about what other artists have done in the past, but also inspire you to create some of your own masterpieces. Just remember that inspiration comes from all sources, so be sure that when you read anything, it's something you genuinely enjoy. Reading something doesn't give it any value unless you want it in your life. Be sure to expand your knowledge by learning new techniques and applying them in different ways. You never know where they might lead you. There is no right or wrong way to be creative, just ways that work for you. Don't forget that mistakes happen and they aren't always bad things. In fact, many of our greatest works were created because we messed up. Don't worry if something doesn't go exactly as planned, just roll with it and try again next time. As Leonardo da Vinci said, art is never finished, only abandoned. Be willing to abandon pieces if they aren't working out. Don't waste time forcing yourself to finish something if it's going nowhere. Focus on projects where you know you'll get results. Travel for inspiration. To be more creative, you need more input, whether it's different people, cultures, or experiences. Traveling for work can be a daunting prospect, but making time for leisure travel provides those aha moments that can spark ideas and solutions in your current business. You could take a trip anywhere from Paris, for fashion, to Uruguay, for tango, to Japan, for design. The great thing about travel is that there's always something new and inspiring out there waiting for you. And if you don't want to spend money on travel, go somewhere local, just get away from your usual routine. Whether it's taking a hike in a nearby state park or heading down to your local farmer's market, being inspired by what you see around you will make you feel inspired when you return home. Listen to great music. The right music can transport you, move you, and make you feel like you're a part of something bigger. Take it from Connaway, it really does influence what you are thinking about in terms of painting and composition. If there's a song that particularly speaks to you, one that reminds you of a loved one or brings up childhood memories, try playing it while working and see if it sparks some new ideas. For example, if Bop by Hanson makes for good background music for your brainstorming session, as Casey says, then try playing other songs from Hanson next time and see if they help your creativity along. Another tip? Let your taste in music help guide what kinds of art you create.